Welcome back to Synergy Bonus. Bunch of guys like to sit around and
be over the shoulder.
Third person over the shoulder.
I blame Resident Evil.
Oh, jeez. All right. Today we're doing taking a slightly different approach.
Tone and approach.
Disaster? No.
No, we're filming. Of course it's a disaster.
Oh. That's positive advertisement. We're going to take a minute to talk about the importance of communicating with your players in a tabletop event prior to character creation. The sort of the themes and the ideas of the kind of game that you want to run.
Keeping in the theme of disasters.
As we've all been or run one of those games where, you know, it's going to be this hard and heavy political thing and somebody shows up with an antisocial loner with a giant silver katana who sits in the corner masturbating the whole session.
I had to show the prince who was the actual alpha male. And I wasn't jacking off, I was humping his leg.
I rest my case.
I am the alpha vampire.
And this is a thing we've run into across all sorts of games. Vampire the Masquerade, as I've just referenced.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, the Saga edition. We've Shadowrun, any edition, pick one. We recently ran into it in Cthulhu Tech.
Yeah.
Hardcore there. We had a little bit of a party balance issue like that with Mutants and Masterminds. And, you know...
The Pathfinder, even.
Even a little bit, yeah. When you've got, so we're going to have this heavy wilderness campaign where we're all out in the woods searching for dungeons and stuff. What are you?
I'm an urbanite.
I'm an ultra-urbane bard who needs a regular bar to play in to do my bardy stuff.
And then the rain comes.
Here comes the rain again.
Well, you mentioned Cthulhu Tech, and I want to just kind of touch on that real quick right now.
Off, Spoon.
Okay. I'm going to kind of paint the picture here.
Please.
We actually playtest... Did you playtest it? Not Cthulhu. Okay.
I was working for that.
So we playtested a...
I wasn't even in on that campaign.
I thought you were.
Nope.
I playtested... Wow. I playtested something for Shadowrun, and... long story short, we got credits for playtesting this.
Oh, no, Shadowrun, you said Cthulhu Tech.
No, that's what I was leading up to it.
Okay.
I
was part of that, because that was Running Wild and the other books.
Dawn of the Artifacts.
Yep.
And I was working closing third shifts at that point in time, so I couldn't make it.
Okay, so we were playtesters for this upcoming book, and Splat books, rather. And we got
modules for some of them.
We got like a $25 or so playtesting credit for Catalyst Games. And at the time, everyone's like, hey, you should get Cthulhu Tech. You know, that sounds kind of cool and whatnot. So I used my credits on Cthulhu Tech. And it just kind of sat on the shelf for a while. And a couple of my friends ended up picking it up and running it. And it ran into a problem with if no one is like the same... class,
the power scales just
there's balancing issues,
specifically like the mech pilot or something?
The mech pilot, the Tagers.
Tager, that was the word.
And I guess it suffers from that. I mean, aside from the crazy ass system that it has with its dice rolls and whatnot, that's another
different video
thing. But the power scales, as Trevor was saying, would just kind of suffer for it.
Because if there was something that the rest of the team could take, the Tager could just steamroll it. And if it was something that was appropriate for the Tager, the rest of the team was going to be wiped out.
I didn't play in this. I just, let them borrow the book. And the book came back, and no one's ever going to want to play Cthulhu Tech again in our circle of group friends. And I'm never going to get to play Cthulhu Tech because of that.
Which is unfortunate, because, again, it might not be a bad game, despite the weird system. It's... just that the arrangement of the characters and so on that we had didn't work because we didn't communicate beforehand during character creation that, hey, this upsets play balance. You can't do that.
I'm going to come to something, but more at the end after all this. It just seems more appropriate to say it then, but I know there's some other stuff.
Yeah. Going back to Shadowrun, Greg had an interesting kind of experience with this not so long ago.
Okay, I've got this really big thing for noir, like hard-boiled detective stuff. I just love it, even though the literature actually bores the hell out of me. I just love the aesthetic of it. So
Spend more time with like the radio dramas; those are fantastic.
Well, that's what I actually like. It's like The Shadow and all that old stuff.
That's good shit right there, actually.
I remember growing up listening to those with my dad. Because they were on syndication. I'm not that old. I'm not that old. I'm not that old.
The streak
old.
in your hair
It's
determined that was a lie.
But,
Thank you, Mari.
So when I think Shadowrun, I think cyberpunk, and cyberpunk is the offspring of noir fantasy.
Bastard offspring, but yes.
So, hey, we're going to do a Shadowrun game. It's like, okay, we got a new GM going. Someone who hasn't run in a while. That means can do a noir-style character, and this might just work. Gonna use some of the Shadowrun lingo. There is 3 types of games. There is the Black Trenchcoat, which is kind of the cloak and dagger, everything's super serious, super, like, do not get caught. You have to go and cover your feet on everything. Next one.
What Running in the Shadows is probably actually like.
Yeah. Then you have a Mirrored Shades game, which is kind of Black Trenchcoat, but it's a little wilder and looser on things. So, hey, if you get into a shootout, it's not the end of the world.
It's Michael Bay does a reboot of the Maltese Falcon.
Yeah. No,
I think I just physically hurt Doug.
How most people play Deus Ex.
There you go.
Or the Metal Gear series. That would be a Mirrored Shades game. Then you have Pink Mohawk, where it's I am paying the biggest, weirdest troll in existence walking downtown with a Panther assault cannon, something that makes a Barrett sniper rifle look like a sidearm.
In a trench coat made completely out of animatronic screaming dragon dildos.
Hi, Snoo Snoo. So, I build a character with the setup of like, okay, Black Trenchcoat, maybe Mirrored Shades, pinkest of Mohawks. The entire game is pinkest of Mohawks.
And to be fair, I feel like Shadowrun always degenerates into that. I've seen a meme of it. It's like how most D&D groups start out. It's Lord of the Rings. How it ends? Monty Python. I mean,
literally. Yeah, I don't even think I've ever been in a Shadowrun game that starts as serious as that.
I've tried, and
you know, like
there was another one. It was this guy in the shower with a corn muffin or like a bran muffin hanging out of his mouth and an assault rifle, and it's just like Shadowrun. If you aren't this paranoid, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
He actually had a Heckler & Koch G3 battle rifle. I know that picture rather well. I don't like firearms at all.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Jordan's, what do you call
Preston Argyle.
Not even Shadowrun. His Hunter game that he's running, that is more
Mirrored Shades
of a Mirrored Shades game. Yep. Like, it's got the synergy that we love, but it's got that noir style, that private investigator, that everything, and it works.
I would almost give it that were it not for our BBW prostitute hunter member.
That kind of makes it the Pink Mohawk.
Yeah. I mean, like, not that she's not entertaining, but when we have to interrupt hunting monsters that are killing people
to go sit on a guy.
To find her a small, scrawny guy to sit on his face periodically.
And then eat IHOPs and In-N-Out Burger.
With an emphasis on the In-N-Out. That kind of breaks the rhythm in the setting. But it's entertaining, so it doesn't quite fall under what we're talking about here.
And that's mostly downtime-ish stuff.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to circle back to Mutants and Masterminds and the Attack of Dr. Malice. It was a phenomenal thing. We had a lot of fun with it.
It's the only... Well, to be fair, I tried to run a second time and it just kind of fell flat.
Different group.
But it was a very successful campaign. It's probably the one game where I had the most players at the table. Yeah. And I kept track of it, and it worked. It worked well.
We had a whole bunch of player chemistry. It worked very well. But the power scale balance, despite the fact that we all had the same number of power points, was absolutely tilted to one side of the table. Just based on the powers that had been selected and the various builds and just the way we approached the game.
Going, through that, you can see that. And plus, we talked about this in our Mutants and Masterminds video, the powers definitely take center stage. And if
So-
you're a Superman character and then this person's a computer hacker, this person might not even really have anything to do here. And I tried to break it up too, and I usually
It's the actual Justice League problem. If you've got, Wonder Woman and Superman and the Green Lantern and the Martian Manhunter,
Why is
why do you
Aquaman
really
here?
need Aquaman and Batman? I mean, yeah.
But I did it very well with getting the group split up. Like, these characters here, they'll go do this, while this group of characters do this. I would thought about the time-traveling sniper in particular. That was a good thing. And then the giant robot that the other team
I'm
dealt
thinking
with.
about the time that we had to do the underwater exploration, and half the team was kind of sitting up in the boat going, well, I hope they come back soon.
I forgot about that.
Do you think they drowned?
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I guess, and that's the thing, that communication.
Yeah. And it goes back to, at the beginning of Spoonie was pretty straightforward. She's like, I want to do this Mega Man-based thing. So we each walked away with that with a different take. I was thinking, okay, power armor, do some plasma shots, weapon stealing, dashing, whatever.
We had 2 power armor characters. You were power armor, right?
I was.
We had 2 power armor characters. We had a speedster.
Yep.
We had a Superman character.
I
we had
hesitate to call him a Superman character. He was more of a Captain America character. He had built the character in such a way that he had whatever powers he needed as the situation called for them.
Captain Planet.
Superman.
Yeah.
More of a Captain Planet. We had. Did I say a speedster?
Yep.
Right? Yep. Diamond Dash.
Yep. And that's the other thing. His alternate power was Diamond Skin, so
Yeah.
we got that.
Which was interesting. We had 2 magic users, although one of them
magic
pretended
users.
to be a gizmo user.
Yep, Gizmo user. We had a shadow user.
Everyone
was just
another magic user, but
everyone was just kind of all over the spectrum here, and we could make it work. But that's kind of what I was going back from when I said at the beginning there. Everyone kind of wants to play their own character, and I'm a big fan of that. Take it and make it your own.
I am too. But if I want to run a super kick in the door hack and slash game, and you show up, or a game of Vampire, and you show up with a
Kiasid.
Toreador or a Kiasid whose their motivation is to get a new book, then sit and read for 300 years, or I don't actually have any combat stats, but I'm really social, so that marauding Sabat Zamitzi abomination over there, I'm going to go attempt to seduce it, to make it calm down.
Hey, here's the sheriff. I'm going to go talk to him. He's the sheriff.
That was a Malkavian. I was okay with that.
We also the Star Wars thing, especially Star Wars, is I think the biggest offender.
Yeah, specifically,
This is a Jedi game.
We play
Not
Saga.
a Jedi. You're
Yeah,
screwed.
We play Saga Edition, and Force users absolutely tip the balance of that game. If you've got a Force user, they're going to be center stage spotlight the whole time, and the only way that anybody else is going to have any means of being useful is if you separate the Jedi from the group for a while.
Or find
Or the
situations
Sith
where
Lord if
their powers are just
Yeah.
not of any
This
use.
Force user in general doesn't have to be a Jedi.
Because there's the Force adept.
Force adepts, there's the Dathomiri witches, there's the various Sith characters. But, if I've got 2 Jedi at the table, the guy who rolled a scout or a noble really serves no function in the party beyond bullet shield, and this is the one who has all the money. Or the inevitable, well, those guys rolled Jedi, so I'm going to function on an ace pilot because once we're in space, lightsabers don't mean bullshit.
Exactly.
But
the real end thing is just that communication.
Yeah.
Just
Or
really trying to get it across. This is the type of game, so you should
Yeah.
try to make this type of character.
yeah, this is going to be a social game. Roll high clans. This is going to be a very Batman-y type game. Make a Batman, make a Robin, make an Orpheus, a Catwoman. Don't show up with Superman.
I can make a certain character work in a Batman game.
Yes, Frank?
Yep.
See, that would work because there's tension then between the characters who use non-lethal methods and you, but you're all still just dudes in suits. Nobody here is a,
I could get away with, what was his name? The Darkness. Eddie...
Jackie Estacado?
Yeah, Jackie.
Jackie Estacado, yep. Yeah, because there's some pretty severe limits on that. But if you were gonna show up with darkness, and I'd be like, okay, well, everybody else roll like a spawn-based character or something.
But
another one we were talking about, and so the thing that I don't know, they don't seem to think it's such a big deal, but it's something that keeps coming up whenever I'm in Shadowrun. Somebody will inevitably roll a Technomancer or a super hacker, a decker, or some sort.
I'd agree that's a problem, and I feel like there should be a better way to streamline it, but there really isn't.
Yeah, well, there really is. Like if I'm going to roll a tech-heavy game, it's going to have a lot of online cyber combat. Everybody rolls some kind of cyber-based character. Or have one or two good cyber-based characters who can hook the rest of you up such that you can interface and interact with cyberspace.
Well, like I've made a hacker a couple of times, and the main thing is, okay, we need to cover that base in case it comes up. If it doesn't come up, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yep.
I have other skills.
Right, and that's a good balance. But I've also run into games where, okay, Technomancer is starting her thing. I'm going to order a pizza and make a beer run, and by the time I get back, it may be my turn for my character to do something. In the flesh world, but probably not.
And the mages are going on the astral.
Yeah.
So,
mages did the same thing in that setting. Like, if you're gonna focus your run on that, let the players know ahead of time so we can sort of build towards that. Because if we're gonna have something that's super heavy in cyberspace, and I'm sitting over here with my gunslinger adept, like, well, I'm glad I took ranks in medicine and first aid, so I can like patch you guys up when you get biofeedback from the black ice. You know,
and there's nothing wrong with making the character that you want to make. Because at the end of the day, everyone wants to kind of flush out the team, cover every aspect. Someone needs to be a healer. Someone needs to be a front runner. Someone needs to be a tank. Someone needs to be reconnaissance. Stuff like that.
There are a lot of systems that are moving away from that, though.
It's true, but like at the end of it all, it really comes down to just everyone communicating with each other, because it's a common mistake, and everyone has made it.
Even then, I've run in games where we didn't have all of our bases covered, and it was a matter of the GM working with us. Like, we've done Ravenloft games where we didn't have a healer.
Here's some wands, here's scrolls,
potions, and other things to get around that problem.
Yeah.
Alchemist.
Yeah. My very first Werewolf of the Apocalypse game. Apocalypse. Wow, this is stronger than I was thinking. They didn't bother to tell me that it was a super wilderness-heavy Red Talon game. I showed up with a Glasswalker Metis in the middle of Alberta, Canada.
Heads up, we're going to be making Windows better. I'm sure you are.
If it ain't broke, fix it till it is. And we eventually, they had a laugh. We made it work for like a session until we decided it wasn't going to work, and I rolled a new character, more in keeping with the theme. But, again, no communication.
Well, at the end of the day, just communicate it.
Talk to your players. Talk to the other players in your group if you're going to be a player.
It's a common mistake, and the most experienced players can make it. So, I guess that's just one of the mistakes to avoid. And
we've all got at the very least 15 years worth of experience at the table. And we do it all the damn time.
Yeah. Well, with that, I'd say good night, good gaming, and good luck.
Hey guys, Vigorex here. If you like what you heard, go ahead and give us a little thumbs up with the like icon down below.
Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a comment. And if you want to watch a different video, click over here.
And as always, good night, good gaming.